welcome back. You know, not many people make this kind of content. It's not for everybody. Some other lovers want to come in and, chat a whole bunch of poppycock per se. Discussing all kinds of things that don't really matter much. But today, we're going to discuss a lot of things that matter. We're going to dive into some deeper topics like we usually do. And today's topic is around women being all a lot of men want out of life. And we're not going to go into the typical, all men want is women, right? We're going to actually dive into the details of the implications of the lack of self-discipline when applied to your sexual desires. Your desires are funny things, man. Some of them are chemical. Some of them, have a base in our natural functioning. But then other desires are conditioned and we're taught to have. When it comes to mating and dating, it's a mix of those two things. It's actually a very complicated mix of those two things, where your natural inclinations and instincts mesh with your social programming and result in your outlook on life. With a lot of men, they never got a chance to understand, whether from being taught or from learning on their own, how dangerous their desires can be. Your desires can lead you to very disappointing ends. Your desires can place you in very compromising situations. Your desire can also be used as fuel to take you to a place you've never been to before, right? So when we start off with, a women, all you want out of life, we got to start with the desires. We're hardwired to want women. We're hardwired to want sexual gratification. Sexual gratification is one of the most strongest gratifications on earth, right? And this gratification is very difficult to shake and to whip into shape. But it's an aspect of ourselves that if we don't whip it into shape, it whips us into shape and into slavery. Are women all you want out of life? When young men are boys prior to a pubescent age, They got this light in their eyes and this curiosity about learning in the world, craftsmanship, mastery, you name it. They take interest in it. But as soon as their interest in women due to their sexual maturation blooms, their focus completely shifts. And again, this is a natural process, not something that, should be judged, but it is something that must be completely understood. There's a rumor that soccer was invented as a game that prevented young men from using their hands and kept them from masturbating. Right. Distracting a young man from his sexual urges during his pubescent stages of life spark his development towards higher things and teach him how to control his concentration in higher states of arousal. A lot of men were robbed of this. A lot of men never got the chance to really channel this energy into productive means, whether it be sports, strength and conditioning, farming. The hobby doesn't matter. The activity should be positive, but it can vary. It varies. But across cultures, suppressing, not repressing, but suppressing and then channeling, right, the sexual urges and energy are some of the most important lessons that they teach within their culture. Once young men reach that pubescent age where women are not only interesting, but they are arousing. And once they get that feeling, that first rush of dopamine, that is sexual gratification in the form of orgasm or ejaculation, and they are not the same thing. Once a young man reaches that point, his life changes forever. And for a lot of people, the goal becomes that feeling. And this is one of the greatest hurdles known to man when it comes to his maturation. Men may acquire wealth, status, position, and their sexual desires will still be their downfall. You see, sexual desires are so powerful that just to gratify them, we're willing to attain almost anything, which is now into the first intricacy that I wanted to discuss about this topic. It's a lot of men that want to make a certain amount of money so that they can have access to either more quantity or more quality of feminine energy and or sexual gratification. And there's not really anything wrong with this all the time, right? Like, again, we're discussing a nuanced topic that isn't necessarily wrong because it's human, right? But it can go wrong. And it's usually because of the perspective that is lost when you're in your deepest desires. See, I know a whole bunch of young and old men. Spent a lot of time talking to them, learning from them what to do, what not to do. But one thing I noticed that is common between old, young men alike. You can see how high sexual gratification is on their list of priorities by looking at how many of their priorities are shaped to gain, maintain, or attain some form of sexual gratification. What does this mean? I mean, a man may put aside time for his health, put aside time for his family, put aside time for his rest, because that's usually what is sacrificed first. We'll get to that in a minute. Just to gratify these sexual urges. And they don't ever calculate what it's costing them. A man who is deeply entrenched in the pits of his desires, and every man will go through this, I'm no exception. I rule, but I'm no exception. When it comes to your desires, when it comes to this sexual gratification, you must be able to calculate how much it costs. Let's take Lenny Lane. Lenny Lane wanted to do a couple of things. Get money, FBs, be popping. And this metric was taught to him as a young boy. You gotta pull the most 304s. You gotta pull the most 304s. You pull no 304s. That was a metric about pulling 304s. And this metric has been ingrained in this young man's mind. Lenny Lane has this metric of pulling 304s in his mind as the zenith of success, forgetting the fact that numbers are endless, which is totally different topic, but he never dissects that. Many men have placed their value, most likely taught to them by a matriarchal figure that ran their family when they were young. They have this metric that states the amount of women that you are able to not only get, but sexually gratify and trick off on and praise. That is your value as a man. And so thus, their entire existence is shaped around their ability to do that. They don't want money until they realize they need money to get women. Some women, or the women they think are worth having. They don't want a big house until they realize some shorties like big houses. They don't want to wear big chains until they realize some shorties like big chains. I'm not talking about grooming yourself or you know, increasing your level of style and sophistication. I'm talking about their entire value system changes so that they can acquire more women in the future. Now, rest in peace to Alan Roger Curry, man. He had this book called Mo 1 that discussed a topic called the possibility of sex. And that topic is so huge. That term is so huge. That's a whole lesson within itself. But these men are willing to throw away their time, which is the most precious thing we ever have, for the possibility of sexual gratification. And that's what I really wanted to dive into today. Throwing away everything you've ever wanted outside of sexual gratification just for sexual gratification is like every time someone offered you a sandwich, you would never say no. Sexual gratification is a lot like hunger, right? Where you can satiate it for the moment, and it can be the best meal you've ever had. Best, I'm talking the flamest thing you've ever eaten in life ever. And you'll still need to eat again tomorrow. Right? You'll still need to eat again tomorrow. Sexual gratification is a lot like that. It may be satiating, but it'll never be completely satisfied. It may be momentarily exhausted, but it is never truly put to rest. So the same way these men, a whole bunch of men are willing to throw their life's work due to sexual gratification addiction. The amount of men that are willing to do that is sad. But they were conditioned to. Since they were children, they've been told that this metric of success is about the amount of women that you have. Not the amount of peace that they have. Not the amount of fulfillment they have out of life. Not even the amount of women they were able to impact. And most of the time, they've sacrificed all of this, and it was just for the possibility of sex. Let's dive deeper. You 14, you want to make a lot of money. You've had drop tops. You've had muscles, money, and mansions fed to your little mind since you were a little boy. And that is how you're going to get these women, because you see them. And everybody, if you got sisters, you know how women are. They can be materialistic. You could go from zero to hero with a Wraith real quick. Like, you could go from zero to hero with, something foreign, something shiny, something green. And so you start to look up professions that may make that amount. You start to look up means and ways to get this amount of money that you don't even know you need yet. You don't even know how much you need to be happy. You just know you want these women, and that it's easier, allegedly, to get them if you got all this SHIT. All for the possibility. This don't even guarantee that they're going to give it up to you. I ain't broke, but when I was broke, super broke, I'm talking stupid broke, I still had women coming through on a bed bug mattress. You know what I'm saying? And that was when I realized I don't need to be a gazillionaire to get sexual gratification. Now back to that food analogy like I was talking about. Looking up the professions that have the most money and chasing those to try and reach those just to get women is like trying to win the lottery so you can buy as many sandwiches as possible. An infinite amount of sandwiches that day. That's stupid to most people. You see how easily identifiably stupid that is? You can't eat that many sandwiches. They'll go bad by the time you get to them. And why is that all that's on your mind? Now let's work backwards. If the goal is as many sandwiches as you can, what are you going to do that? You're going to buy as many plates, as many tables as it is, to make sure they look nice whenever they sit on the table. As many chairs, just in case you have a guest who want to come in and, have some peanut butter and jelly. Now, everything around your life revolves around these damn sandwiches, and they spoil. And you'll be hungry tomorrow, and you'll probably be tired of these damn sandwiches soon. That is sexual gratification. To the point where people push even when they're tired of it. Are women all you want out of life? I found out how peaceful my life was and could be when I filtered my goals through the sieve of gratification. When I was younger, I would write out my goals and I'd be like, oh yeah, I need this amount of bread because I gotta get this, and I'm gonna need, by that time I better have graduated to smoking about 2 P's a month. You know what I mean? Like, by then I probably graduated to this, and I gotta have some bread for my girl, and I gotta Gotta make sure I got bread for my other shorty, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna have multiple. And by the end of that map out session, I saw how much money I would need to do all of those things. Not to mention, I didn't even have the experience of having a girlfriend that I lived with or was serious with to truly get how annoying that would be. And so I looked at that number of how much bread I would need at the end of that month. And I was like, wow, I would have to work really hard to get that shit. I would have to spend a lot of time to get that shit. And I backtracked to how many hours approximately that would take a day of grinding. And it was around 19 hours. 19 hours a day. I would have to grind 19 hours a day, 5 days a week, in order to achieve that amount of money that I wanted for that specific lifestyle. I was willing to lose sleep, to lose health, to lose friendships, to lose a lot over sandwiches. Over sandwiches. And see, retention, sperm retention is a totally different subject. And that's for savants only anyways. But on the basic I level of, we haven't even gone below sea level or too high above sea level. Most men don't do cost benefit analyses when it comes to their sexual gratification and sexual habits. And the more you get used to doing these cost benefit analyses, you'll start seeing it from like a year ahead. Like, dang, if I mess with this girl, I know I like her physically. She's my physical type. We also vibe emotionally, but she can be kind of immature. I know that, we'll have an incredible time sexually, but if I link with her, I'm going to just justify linking with her for the next probably 6 months. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be diving in it probably 3 times a week. And you'll start doing these math. You'll start doing this math. And the older you get, the less time you have. And you realize, damn, do I really want to give 6 months to this shorty just because she's my kryptonite? And most of the time, the answer is yeah. A lot of men haven't taken a year straight break away from women. I'm talking about saying no to offers they're getting. To really refocus. I mean, and that's hard. That's very hard. I mean, I'm a couple years in pure retention, but I want it way worse than most people do. I just want success that badly. Right? I just want it that badly. Not to compete with anybody. Are women all you want out of life? You want that mansion because you think a woman would look nice in it. Or multiple women. You want that pool because you want to throw a pool party. And have a bunch of shorties in bikinis like Baywatch. You want that drop top. So when you pull up with the ceiling missing, the shorties go, ooh. Now, if you want these things because you like them, and you one of those people who is genuinely likes these things because you like them or wants these things because you like them, that's cool. I respect that. That's cool. But I guarantee you, 90% of the people who really are honest with themselves and see their goals, they want these things for the possibility of sexual gratification. Shout out Joshua. Shorties in bikinis like Baywatch. Yes, sir, you want that. Yeah, you want that right now. You want that right now. What if that costed you your freedom? What if it costed you your peace? What if it costed you your time, hours, and labor? Yeah, the shorties in bikini like Baywatch is great. Sexual gratification is a hunger that may be momentarily satiated, but will never be fully satisfied. Now, one can argue, all right, so what? It's never really satisfied. I have to eat every day. So let me just eat every day. Just like, you know, if I want sandwiches, I want sandwiches every day. That's cool. That's no problem. Sandwiches don't come with sentences, though. Sandwiches can't wake up in the morning and say, I didn't want it. Sandwiches can't blow some scopolamine in your face. Tell you to go to the ATM and withdraw everything. Sexual gratification is so strong, you'll forego every long-term consequence for a 20-second rush of endorphins into your brain. 20 seconds. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We dive into today. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Getting control of this when you're young is important because that is the only power that you truly have. That is the only power that you truly have is self-control. If I can make you jump using a broad, oh man. That means a broad is the only difference between the money in your pocket becoming the money in my pocket. All because of that. All because of that. It's so essential for men to ask themselves whether or not their goals are for themselves, for their legacy, or for the sexual gratification. And I'm not saying some people don't throw away their life for their appetite's gratification. You know, my 600-pound life exists, but an addict is an addict. But that's the one that everybody says is normal. That's the one everybody says is okay. Tricking is not only at an all-time high, it's slowly or arguably quickly replacing a value system. that places spiritual development over sexual gratification. Imagine not going to the gym, not praying, not getting some sleep, not staying on your supplementation, not getting a chance to meditate. I mean, bro, not getting a chance to go enjoy a game because you're working 16 hours to pay for that whip, to pay for that crib, for a social status, for the possibility of cracking some buns, to possibly have an orgasm for 45 seconds at a time. Do the math. Do the math. I'm not saying it's not enjoyable. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever do it. I'm saying the cost benefit analysis must match. Has to match. Are women all you want out of life? And not just that, hop into the other side of it. Imagine not enjoying a simple conversation with a really beautiful woman. Like just really chilling in her energy, right? You know that when you first meet a woman and you haven't slept with her yet, you haven't even, crossed verbal boundaries of, of inappropriate conversations or, any conversation that may be a little bit taboo. You haven't even crossed that yet, but it's clear you're attracted to each other deeply and you're just talking. That feeling that you get. A lot of men are really quick to get rid of that so that they can hop straight to the sexual gratification. But if you can hone in on that feeling that you get prior to, and you can really spend time diving into who this woman is as a person, not only may you see something you might not like, but you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time, and that's regular human connection. And that feels real good, especially with a woman that can really carry conversation, that can really pique your interest, that's interested in some of the things that you're interested into. Now, can you have all of that? Can you have all of the prerequisite factors of attraction and sexual gratification, enjoy it in the moment and let it go? And let it go? Talk to one of the most beautiful women you've ever talked to. Great conversation. May not ever see her again. Can you walk away without asking for her number? I'm not talking about because you're scared. I'm talking about you're a person who's on go mode. Fear is not in this element. Because again, it's your closed mouth won't get fed and you want to eat some sandwiches. That type of self-control, when you learn that young, the world becomes your damn oyster. That type of self-control, form of self-denial is a lot like fasting. Everybody into the intermittent fasting, NoFap's kind of on the edge too, but a lot of people weren't on NoFap or retention. You know, they weren't on that. They weren't studying that type of stuff. That's esoteric. They weren't on that. Are women all you want out of life? Most of the time, people doubt it, especially once they get all these women. I'm gonna drop some content about the player cycle, but you play a different game. A player always gonna be a player, but you end up playing a different game. You don't play the same game you used to play. You used to be in AAU. Well, now this is NC double damn A. And after a couple years after that, you either go to the draft or you hit them trials. You hit that G League. You hit that D League. You go overseas. You play different games. When you're young and sexual gratification is all you are thinking about, and that's all you have ever chased, and you don't know that you should want more, and you haven't ever wanted more. It's kind of hard to want more when you never knew you should. Because see, when you taste more, now you're going to ask yourself, what more is there? Like, oh, this is, you mean? But sometimes some people need to know that they should want more and that they can get more and deserve more. It'll always be there. The pleasure of having the strongest body you've ever had is greater than the pleasure of sexual gratification. The pleasure of eating the most fresh fruits on planet Earth, seeded, grown in tropical suns, with some of the most fire spliffs ever rolled, is greater than sexual gratification. The pleasure of drinking freshly squeezed lemonade on a 95-degree day, made with agave, not sugar. That is better than sexual gratification. You know why? It's not because you think or I think that they're better, in my opinion. No, they're better because you can always go have some sexual gratification. You can have sexual gratification along with all of those things I just mentioned. But not if your focus is sexual gratification. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You know, Andre 3000 had a bar in Sorry. He said, "Well, it ain't what it is. Even if you gotta live, I like that apartment is way more exciting than that big ass house on the hill. I used to be a way better writer and a rapper when I used to want a black come again." He said, "I like that apartment is way more exciting than that big old house on the hill." And you know, if you really even get way more simpler, we won't even gotta break down no 3 stacks bars, because you know some people is too young for that. But like if we even get like dive deeper, or go shallower. Actually, let's go shallower. Let's just keep it simple. If you told a man he could be a millionaire for the rest of his life, but he couldn't look like one, so few people would be down with that, because it just wouldn't have the perks they were looking for. They want people to be jealous of them stunting. They want women to, flop for their shiny things. Having money is not the goal. Looking like money is the goal. Being something is not the goal. Looking like something is. And I understand it. But on this other side of the game, on the developed side of the game, I can't imagine choosing anything different. You give me 100 mil tomorrow, but I can never buy another luxury item, luxury branded item. Because I mean brands. I'm not talking about real luxury. I mean brands. I mean, you get rich to buy luxury, but to me, luxury is, man, I got a collection of water filters. You feel me? I could get water in any way. I got a collection. I got a dehumidifier. Shout out Moses West. To me is, do I have a farm where I can grow everything I need? That's luxury. I don't know, man. All of my family members is doctors, and we just got the hospital downstairs. That's luxury. Oh yeah, this jam that you eating on this freshly baked bread. Oh no, that jam, we just picked that from the blueberry, from the raspberry, from the strawberry, right there. That's luxury. That's real luxury. The shorties these young men are sacrificing for might come to a farm like that, not see no Gucci and be like, not knowing it's probably one of the most valuable things on earth. But I wouldn't get a farm because it would help me pull shorties. I would get a farm because I realize if I have no money and I have that farm and all the equipment, if I go broke the next day, I can make some shape. Don't let me have some chickens and have some immediate food source. Like, I got eggs every... Come on, man. Because I want something that alleviates stress. My peace of mind is that valuable to me. My peace of mind allows me to do everything else. So I can't set my goals around just my sexual gratification. It costs too much peace. It costs too much serenity. But it don't gotta be like that. It don't gotta be like that. And you also don't have to sacrifice sexual gratification either. I'm fresh off some box, like about 30 minutes, 30, 45. Well, 50, because we've been streaming. But let's just say I don't starve myself. I'm eating sandwiches. But I will never sell my soul for some sandwiches. I will never sell my soul. But y'all selling your soul for sandwiches. Talking that sandwich box. Just a shame. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the future you that is counting on you to make better decisions right now. That's not fair to the children, and you don't care who you may cause them to be birthed out of. Again, that might be too deep too. But that is a major problem right now. Most of these young men are willing to throw away their goals, their life, their time, their effort, their energy, their good health for goals that bring them closer to sexual gratification. Possibly. And I hope we can shift that narrative. I used to be addicted to the box. I'm talking about addicted. Nothing else I could think about. I want to go smoke me a blunt and go get me some box. That's what I need. Ow. I'm talking SpongeBob. I need it. Right? Now, man, the box ain't even enough to get me up. I'm gonna need the box, a back rub, silence, food, good food, a foot rub, 2 more L's after that, maybe my oil changed. Like, I need this to be cost benefit plus, like net positive outcome. Because I want more out of life. You can no longer dangle this mangled carrot in front of me because I'm not an ass on a treadmill anymore, chasing it. You can't dangle a fresh carrot, let alone a mangled one. But hey, I'm Mr. Subconscious. And this was some inner dialogue. And I hope you can realize there's far more to life. Just as fasting may clear some of that shit out. Fasting from the punani might clear your head out. We'll get back to it, but stay sophisticated.